I'm back with another LDR video, this time the top 5 worst parts about being in a LDR, which is a long distance relationship. I have my tablet here with me, so if I look down, it's me looking at the notes that I've written. There are a lot of frustrating parts about being in an LDR, and it was kind of hard to choose only 5 of them, since it's not exactly fun. But I managed to whittle them down to my top 5 worst parts about being in a long distance relationship, so here we go. The first worst part about being in an LDR is obviously that you don't get to see the person that you're with. If you see this person as your best friend, this can be even more frustrating because you might not have someone else that you normally have the reaction or have the urge to go talk to. For example, if something were to happen to you, something good or something bad, you might want to turn to your best friend and talk to them. But if your best friend is your partner and your partner is not there with you, then you're kind of doubly screwed. So it really sucks. It can quickly become super frustrating when you really want to feel connected to somebody and really want to talk to somebody, especially now during the coronavirus, where you might not have a lot of people around you to where you can talk to, and the one person that you really do want to talk to isn't even available to you at all. So that's the number one worst part about being in a long distance relationship is, of course, the distance, but you know, it had to be said. The second worst part about being in an LDR are insecurities. It doesn't matter how much you trust your person, there's always going to be some insecurities there because you're apart from each other. You never know what could happen, you never know what mistakes could be made, and you also never know if you'll ever hear about them if mistakes are made. While saying that, I do trust my partner very much, and it really helps if you and your partner are very open with each other and you've discussed how you feel, your insecurities, what you're scared of, and what you are worried about, to where you don't feel as worried anymore the longer that you're apart. I think these insecurities are natural and not really anything to be worried about as long as they aren't affecting negatively your relationship. My partner and my boyfriend, we realized that like it gets easier the longer that you're in the relationship for, at least it was for us. So while this is my second worst thing about a LDR, it does get better over time. The third worst part about being in a long distance relationship is arguing. Because when you're done arguing, you can't kiss or hug or let your partner know that you're okay with the argument, or reach out to your partner to make sure that they're okay with the argument. All you can do is ask them, are you okay? And sometimes that's not enough to make the situation okay, if that makes any sense. You can't use your body language to portray how you feel, and you can't like gauge their body language to see how they feel. And arguing in this way can actually make the argument feel more amplified than it actually would be if you were in person. So something little that you could argue about in person that could easily be dissipated from a hug, a nod, understanding that it's a little thing in person could be a much bigger thing over the phone, because first of all, that's all you have to talk about. You can't just hug, you know, and then do something else. You just talk for the rest of the night. So you end up just going over that topic again and again, and that's like one of the most annoying things about being in a relationship that's phone based. The fourth most annoying thing or worst thing about being in a long distance relationship are Wi-Fi problems and time zones. Now, personally for me, in my relationship, we haven't had to deal with time zones yet. Unfortunately, we feel like in the future we may have to deal with time zones since one of us are looking to move, but we do have to deal with Wi-Fi problems. And there's nothing more frustrating than wanting to talk to someone the entire day, and then when you finally have the time to sit down and talk to that person, your Wi-Fi decides to not let you talk to that person. So you have to just sit there like for hours trying to figure out why the Wi-Fi isn't working on your side. Is it their phone? Is it your phone? Is it your Wi-Fi? Is their connection? What's going on? You don't know. You don't get to talk to them. It's super annoying. This is especially frustrating when you're talking about something deep or important, or you're arguing, to where if you're in the middle of pouring your heart out and the Wi-Fi cuts out, it can be really like heartbreaking, and vice versa. If the other person is really trying to convey something to you that really means something to them and now you can't hear them or you can't listen properly, you have to keep asking them to repeat themselves, it sort of ruins a moment and it can be really upsetting really quick. The fifth worst thing about being in a long distance relationship would be keeping things fresh and exciting, especially when you run out of things to say. In a long distance relationship, all you get to do is talk. So eventually you're going to run out of things to talk about. Even after you've talked about each other's day, each other's thoughts, your dreams, whatever, eventually you're not going to know what to say anymore. And when that happens, it can be kind of sad. And then you have to figure out what you're going to do to still spend time together. While this is upsetting, it can also be pretty fun because then you can be creative and figure out things that you want to do. Me and my partner use Zoom a lot, and we will watch the same Netflix show or the same, movie, and we'll video chat while we're doing it, or we'll DoorDash each other food. He might take a walk and I might take a walk at the same time so that we're walking together. Or we'll just obsess over planning of the next time that we get to see each other. You have to cycle the activities you do, otherwise things might start to feel really stale really quickly since all you do is talk. Okay, well, I know that was quick, but that was my top 5 worst, that was my top 5 worst things about being in a long distance relationship. There's probably way more, and I'll probably figure out way more as I continue in the relationship that I'm in, but for now that's all I have. Yeah, let me know if you like this video and see you later.